Got a quick one for you guys today. I'm going to be replacing the battery on a Game Boy game, but I want to do it without losing the save file. Now I've seen some people using a Game Boy Advance, and they'll take half the shell off this thing, plug the game in, and turn it on. So this way they have the battery exposed and they're able to desolder it and replace it while keeping power to the cartridge and thus not losing their save file. A couple problems with that: you might not have a Game Boy Advance, and if you have a Game Boy Advance game that uses a battery for a save, well, this method won't work because you can't access the battery when the game's in here. So we want to try something different. Now my approach is just going to be using a second battery to temporarily provide power to the cartridge while we replace the one that's on the board. Let's get to it. First thing, let's take a look at the save file real quick. So we can see we have one file on here. And let's say this is really important to us. We do not want to lose this save file. Start with our GameBit drive. Can slide this open now. Move those to the side. So let's check our batteries. New one reads 3.3 volts. Old one is just over 3. So you can tell this battery has a stronger charge. Obviously it's brand new, and this one is probably well over 15 years old. One thing that's important to check with the meter is your polarity. So you can see if I were to swap my probes, check this battery the other way, well, the voltage is going to show up negative. So if I put the wrong terminal on the wrong side, that's going to be bad news. So we got to keep that in mind as we're moving forward. What I also have is a second battery, one that I've already soldered temporary lead wires to. And I'm going to use these wires to temporarily solder to the board. And I need to find a point where I can do that. There's two plated pads right above the battery that look like a plus and minus symbol, but they also appear to be connected to the traces. So I'm going to check those to see if I can use them as soldering points for my temporary battery. And we do get voltage, so I'm going to use these plus and minus symbol pads here to attach the temporary battery while we swap this one out. The first thing I'm going to do is tin those pads. Now I've already checked polarity on this battery, so I know that the red wire is positive and the white is negative. I'll attach the first side now. And the next. At this point I'm going to check the voltage again and make sure everything is still good to go. And we have 3 volts, so I think we're okay. Now I have some solder wicks so we can start removing the battery. Now I'll use a plastic tool to gently pry up the battery as I heat up one end. And do the same on the other. Still have 3 volts, I think we're good. I'm going to use the solder wick again to clean these pads real nice. And I'm cleaning with alcohol before putting on the new battery. Here's the new battery. This did originally have longer tabs. I cut them down to get it to fit better. So we'll get that in place. Start by soldering one end. And now we can do the other. Got 3 volts, so we'll disconnect the temporary battery. Still 3 volts. Do one final cleanup with alcohol. Here's our old battery. The moment of truth. When we turn this thing back on, will we still have our save file? I'm going to leave the screw out for now. Hey! And we have it. So we got a new battery, and we managed to keep our save. Full disclosure here, this is not my first attempt doing this. I actually messed this up before because, like a big dummy, I used a metal tweezers and pinched that battery. As soon as you do that, you short the positive and negative electrodes and basically pull the voltage to 0. If that happens for even, a millisecond on your game, it's going to lose the file. So don't make that mistake. If you're going to use a tweezers, make sure you use a plastic one, or you can see I used a plastic spudger. Hopefully this was useful to you. Hopefully you don't make the same mistakes I did. But in any case, we got her figured out in the end. So that's all I have. Thanks for watching.